My twin brother found out my wife was cheating on me, because she couldn't tell us apart. What followed was absolute chaos. I, 34M, have a twin brother, Evan. We're identical, like freakishly so. Same height, same voice, same build, same everything. The only difference is personality. I'm the quiet one, introverted, engineer type. He's the social butterfly, all charm and confidence. My wife, Jess, 33F, used to joke that she hit the jackpot by marrying me but got two for the price of one. Funny, right? We've been married for 6 years. At first, things were solid. We weren't the Pinterest perfect couple, but we were stable. We had routines, we communicated, or so I thought, and I always made sure she felt supported. I worked long hours, yeah, but it was for us. I paid the bills, planned the vacations, remembered anniversaries. She worked part-time at a boutique and spent most evenings on the couch, wine in hand, scrolling Instagram. Then came the shift. About 6 months ago, Jess started getting colder. Less affection, more mood swings. She said she was tired, stressed, just not in the mood. Every conversation became an argument. Every small thing I did was suddenly controlling or dismissive. Meanwhile, her phone became an extra limb. Face down, notifications off, always clutched like it held the nuclear codes. I thought maybe it was depression. Or burnout. Or that she was going through something I didn't understand. I offered to go to counseling. She said I was overreacting. Then came the day Evan called me and said, "Hey, so, I think your wife thinks I'm you." That's when everything changed. So Evan calls me, clearly uncomfortable. He's never serious, always cracking jokes, always sarcastic, but this time his voice was low and tight. "She came up to me at Java Junction," he said. "Just walked up, kissed me on the cheek, and said, 'Last night was amazing.' I needed that." I froze. "Wait, what?" "She thought I was you, man." And then she said, "Same time next week?" I didn't say anything. I just kinda nodded and got the hell out. At first, I tried to rationalize it. Maybe it was a prank. Maybe she really did think he was me and was being flirty because. I don't know, because we're married. But that "last night was amazing" line. That didn't sit right. I hadn't even seen her the night before. She'd told me she was visiting her cousin across town and stayed overnight. I didn't question it, why would I? Now my brain was racing. Was she cheating on me, with Evan? That sounded insane. But Evan looked like me. And she did say something happened last night. I asked Evan if he thought she was messing around. He paused. Then said, "Honestly, it didn't feel like a joke, bro." She touched my chest. She smiled. She looked at me like she was expecting something real. I was shaking. I thanked him and hung up. Then I sat in my car, hands gripping the steering wheel, heartbeat in my ears. If she thought Evan was me, and she was being intimate with him, what the hell was she doing with other people? And why did she lie about where she was the night before? I had to know. So I asked Evan to help me find out. Evan was hesitant at first. I don't blame him, who wants to go undercover in their brother's imploding marriage? But he saw how messed up I was. I wasn't eating. I couldn't sleep. I had that haunted look like the world stopped making sense. So he agreed. The plan was simple. She texted me, "Really Evan," the next night, asking if we were still on for drinks and cuddles. Disgusting. My stomach actually turned. He replied, "Absolutely. Same place." She gave the address of some cheap motel 20 minutes from our house. A motel. Not even discreet. Just lazy. So Evan went. I followed in my car and waited in the parking lot with my phone recording everything. She met him in the hallway outside the room. Hugged him. Kissed him. Slipped a hotel key into his hand and whispered something we couldn't catch. Then she said, "You smell different today. Did you change cologne?" That's when Evan pulled the trigger. He backed away, pulled off his hat, and said, "Jess, it's me. Evan. Not your husband." She blinked. Froze. And then, like a true manipulative pro, she laughed. "Oh my God. I knew it. I was just testing you." Classic. Evan shook his head. "Nah. You were not. And guess what? He's outside. He heard everything." Her face dropped. I stepped into the hallway. She saw me, turned white, and immediately started in, "It's not what it looks like, babe. I thought you were bored with me. You're never home." "You're right," I said. "And now I know why I'm never home, because I was busy working my ass off while you were sneaking into motels like a horny teenager." She called me paranoid. Delusional. "It was one time," she lied. "One time." Evan said. "She invited me back next week." She shoved past me and stormed to her car. I stood there, shaking. Numb. Furious. My wife didn't just cheat. She mistook my twin brother for me, and tried to cheat again. I didn't sleep that night. I just sat on the edge of the bed, our bed, staring at the spot she always slept. That pillow I used to fix under her neck. The one I kissed her on the forehead over 1,000 times. Now it just looked infected. She didn't come home. No apology texts. No teary voicemails. Just silence. Evan texted me around 2 a.m., checking in. Said he was sorry. That he hated being part of this. I told him not to apologize, it wasn't his fault she got her lies tangled in a DNA knot. By morning, I was still in the same clothes. Staring at nothing. Feeling everything. You don't just lose a partner when they cheat. You lose the version of them you built in your head. The one you defended when they got moody. The one you made excuses for when they stopped saying, "I love you," first. That woman didn't exist. The real Jess was selfish, manipulative, and calculating enough to keep two lies running side by side, me, her safe bet, and whoever else she was dragging into her circus. She came home around noon the next day, looking hungover and pissed. "Really classy of you to ambush me like that," she spat. I didn't even get up. "Really classy of you to jump into bed with my brother." She rolled her eyes. "God, it didn't even happen. You're being dramatic." I pulled out my phone. Hit play on the audio. Her voice came through clear. "Same time next week. You smell different today. You're never home, I'm lonely." Her eyes went wide for a second, then dead flat. "You were spying on me." That was her angle. I just laughed. "Jess, I wasn't spying. I was surviving." She scoffed, grabbed a suitcase, and said, "I'll be at my sister's. Call me when you're done being a psycho." And she left. But not before I started planning what would come next. She thought she could lie, cheat, gaslight me, and walk away clean. She forgot I'm not just her husband. I'm also my own twin's double. And I was about to use every bit of that to burn her whole life factory to the ground. The next few days were pure limbo. She didn't call. Didn't text. Didn't try to come back. Just disappeared into her sister's guest room like nothing happened. I didn't reach out either. I started gathering things. Bank statements. Phone records. The title to the house, which, thankfully, is only in my name. She always said the paperwork stressed her out. For once, her laziness worked in my favor. Then I got smart. I logged into our shared iCloud account. She never changed her credentials. Why would she? She thought she was too clever to get caught. Within 5 minutes, I had access to every photo, every location ping, every iMessage she didn't delete. Let me tell you, Reddit, I found a treasure trove of betrayal. There wasn't just one guy. Or even two. There were 3. A guy named Nick she met at the gym. She told him I was her roommate and that she was finally getting out of a toxic situation. A business contact she had been seeing in a hotel downtown every other Thursday like clockwork. And the kicker? A married dude named Anthony. She'd sent him a topless selfie on our anniversary. My jaw literally dropped. She wasn't just cheating, she had a whole hobby out of it. I printed everything. Screenshots. Maps. Dates. Even synced it to a thumb drive labeled Truth. Then I did something even pettier. I scheduled a dinner with her parents. They loved me. Always said I was the best thing that ever happened to Jess. They even told me once that I reminded them of the man they hoped she'd marry. So I invited them to our favorite Italian place. Told them I needed their advice on something personal. She had no clue. And I was about to flip her entire world upside down. So I meet her parents, Marla and Frank, at this cozy little Italian place. We've eaten there as a family a dozen times before. Her dad even claps the chef on the back when we walk in, like we're regulars or something. They're all smiles. "How's Jess?" her mom asks, sipping her wine. I give her a tight-lipped smile. "She's good." Well, she was. Cue their concerned expressions. I tell them I need to share something serious. That it involves Jess, our marriage, and some decisions I'm going to make. Then I pull out the flash drive. Slide it across the table. "What's this?" her dad asks. "It's proof," I say. "Of the other men Jess has been sleeping with. The lies she's told. The things she's done behind my back. They go quiet. Like really quiet. I don't push. I don't need to. I just say, I thought you should know before this gets ugly. Because when I'm done with the legal part, I don't want you blindsided. I've respected you both for years, and I won't drag you through this if I can help it." Her mom looks like she's about to cry. Her dad. His jaw clenches. "I knew something was off," he mutters. "Last Thanksgiving, she couldn't look me in the eye." I leave them with the check and the drive. I don't stay for dessert. Next day, I get a text from Jess. "Jess, what the hell did you do? My parents are calling me non-stop like I'm some kind of criminal." "Me, you cheated with multiple men. Lied. Gaslit. Manipulated. What exactly did you expect? Jess, you're unbelievable. This is your revenge, huh?" "Me, not yet. But we're getting there. Because I wasn't done. Not by a long shot. Next stop, her job. Jess works, or worked, at a boutique marketing firm. It's a trendy place, mostly Instagram influencers and social media clients. She loved to flaunt her marketing strategist title like she was running Fortune 500 campaigns. Reality? She scheduled posts and gossiped over overpriced lattes. Now, before anyone thinks I'm just being petty, hear me out. One of the guys she was cheating with. Nick, the gym guy. Yeah, he was a client. As in, she was hooking up with a client she managed through work. There were texts on her iCloud like, "Let's skip the meeting and meet in the back room winking face. I'll write off the dinner as a business expense LOL." Unbelievable. So I printed those too. Packaged everything neatly, screenshots, message timestamps, photo attachments, and sent them anonymously to her HR department, CC to the senior partners. I didn't even need to write a note. The screenshots spoke for themselves. The next day, Jess stormed into the house like a tornado. "I got suspended, you asshole. You emailed my job." I stayed calm. I always do when she's screaming. "Correction, your job got an anonymous complaint with documented evidence that you were banging a client in company property." She lunged at me. Not kidding, lunged. Like she was going to hit me. I stepped back, held up my phone, and said, "Touch me, and I call the cops. I have nothing to lose anymore, Jess. You've got a lot." That stopped her. She collapsed on the couch, started crying. And I'll admit, I almost felt bad. Almost. Then she looked up with mascara running and muttered, "You're just mad because someone else wanted me." And with that, any shred of pity I had evaporated. "You're not desirable," I said. "You're disposable. And you proved it." She left again that night. For good. But I still wasn't done. I had one last thread to cut before I could finally start healing. I had one more thing to take care of before I could finally move forward, a guy named Kevin. Kevin and I had been friends since college. He was one of my groomsmen. We played poker on Fridays, went to the same gym, even took turns hosting football Sundays. Solid guy, or so I thought. After Jess left for good, I started doing the math on one specific set of texts she sent under a name she saved as Kayla. Seemed odd. Kayla didn't talk like a woman. Then I checked the number. Guess who it belonged to? Kevin. She'd been texting him, under a fake contact name, 4 months. I read messages about missing his touch, reliving the night in his car, and my personal favorite. He's so clueless. Sometimes I wonder how he hasn't figured it out. But I guess I'm just that good. She was referring to me. I was the clueless idiot while my best friend and wife played footsie under my roof. So, what did I do? I invited Kevin to talk, just like I did with her parents. We met at a bar. Same bar where we celebrated his promotion last year. I didn't waste time. I put my phone on the table. Pressed play. Read some of the texts aloud. His face drained like a bathtub. "You were my brother," I said. "And you were screwing my wife while pretending to be my best man." He stammered. Tried to blame the alcohol, said it was just a couple times, claimed he felt guilty afterward. I nodded. "Cool. You'll have time to reflect on that." Then I dropped the final bomb. I told the rest of the guys. "Don't expect any invites." He reached for my arm. I said, "Touch me and I'll drop every screenshot on your girlfriend's phone." Yeah, he had one of those too. Then I left. I didn't look back. That was the last thread. The final lie, cut clean. Now it was just me. Standing in the wreckage of what used to be my life. But I was still standing. And for the first time in months, I finally knew where to go from here. After cutting ties with Jess, her parents, and my so-called friend Kevin, my life got eerily quiet. No more arguments. No more fake apologies. No more gaslighting gymnastics where I doubted my own instincts. Just silence. For the first time in years, I could actually hear myself think. I slept on the couch the first few nights, not because I had to, but because the bed felt like enemy territory. Every creak of the mattress reminded me of her. Every quiet moment echoed with her lies. I went through the motions. Ate meals standing over the sink. Took long walks with no destination. Deleted old photos one by one. Sometimes I'd pause on a picture where we were smiling, vacations, holidays, weddings, and I'd just stare. Were those smiles real? Was anything real? But slowly, something started to change. I stopped waking up with my stomach in knots. I stopped second-guessing every moment in my memory. And the house, once haunted by her perfume and presence, started to feel like mine. I painted the bedroom. Burned the sheets. Got a dog, rescue mutt named Ghost, because irony. I even put Evan's name on the lease as my emergency contact. He earned it. And you know what? I started laughing again. Like really laughing. At stupid memes, at TV shows, even at myself. Because holy hell, I almost stayed married to a woman who thought cheating on me with my twin brother was just a little mistake. Nah. That's not a mistake. That's a personality. And I finally accepted that none of it was about me not being enough. It was about her being broken and selfish. I didn't break our marriage. She shattered it. All I did was sweep up the glass and make sure no one else stepped on the same shards. So I started rebuilding, literally and emotionally. I turned our old guest room into a home office. Ripped out the useless his and hers vanity in the bathroom because, well, there's no hers anymore. Got myself a proper coffee machine. No more waiting for someone who always left lipstick stains on the rim and dirty mugs in the sink. I blocked Jess on everything. Socials, email, even Venmo. Petty? Maybe. But peace tastes better than closure, and I wasn't going to give her a direct line back into my life. But the world doesn't pause just because you're healing. Word got out, of course it did. Some of our mutuals reached out. Most were supportive, a few were fake nice. I kept my circle small. Evan, my cousin, and a couple of real friends who didn't hesitate to tell me, yeah bro, we always thought she was a little off. Gee, thanks for the heads up, guys. Jess tried to contact me through one of her friends. Apparently, she was really sorry, and wanted to talk. Not to get back together, just for closure. Closure, my ass. You don't burn someone's house down then ask if they want to roast marshmallows in the ashes. Still, for a second, I was tempted. Just a second. I imagined what I'd say if I gave her that chance. But the more I pictured it, the more I realized, nothing I said would matter. And nothing she said would change the fact that I'd seen who she really was. So instead, I went for a run. First time in months. Felt good. Sweaty. Alive. And I came home to Ghost wagging his tail, not a single lie in sight. It hit me right then, I wasn't surviving anymore. I was finally living. It's the little things, you know. Like realizing the milk in the fridge hasn't mysteriously vanished. Or that my bathroom towels are actually where I left them. That I can watch whatever I want without someone rolling their eyes at dumb action movies. I reclaimed my space. Every drawer, every inch of closet she used to monopolize. I even bought a new set of dishes because, screw it, I didn't want to eat off memories anymore. But don't worry, I didn't forget about the fun part, revenge. Not petty revenge. Not the kind that lands you on the wrong side of a lawsuit. I'm talking about the slow drip kind. The kind that seeps into her world through whispers and social consequence. See, turns out one of Jess's side flings was trying to go legit with a startup. And one of my friends works in small business funding. Let's just say the screenshots found their way to the right inbox. Funding pulled. Launch postponed. Reputation slightly toasted. I didn't have to say a word. Just shared the truth in the right places. Oh, and Kevin. His girlfriend dumped him. Apparently she got an anonymous manila envelope with all his chats with Jess printed out in glorious 12-point font. That envelope might have smelled faintly of my cologne. Who's to say? Best part? I didn't do it to be cruel. I did it because for once, I was putting me first. I was done being the nice guy who eats lies with a smile. I wanted accountability. And if that came with a side of poetic justice? Even better. About 3 months post-nuclear meltdown, I got the text. Blocked number. But I knew who it was. Hey. I know I'm the last person you want to hear from. But I just want to say I'm sorry. For all of it. I was in a bad place. I didn't mean to hurt you. Classic. No, I betrayed you. No, I used you. Just a vague, bad place and an equally vague apology. I didn't respond. But I stared at it for a long time. You ever read something so fake it makes you laugh out loud? It was like she copied and pasted it from some "apologize to your ex" blog. Zero accountability. Zero actual remorse. Just another manipulation attempt. Probably sent from the same thumbs that sent those late-night pics to Nick, Anthony, Kevin, hell, maybe even the Pope at this rate. A week later, her mom messaged me. She's trying to get her life back together. Therapy, work stuff. Thought you'd want to know. I didn't reply to that one either. Because here's the thing, Jess always knew how to perform pain. How to look devastated, how to say the words that sounded like growth without actually doing any growing. Me? I didn't post a thing. I didn't cry on social media. I didn't ask anyone to please understand my side. I just did the work. Therapy. Journaling. Long drives with no music. Crying at weird commercials. Rebuilding my identity brick by brick. You don't get to burn the bridge and then demand a guided tour back across. She chose chaos. I chose healing. And for once, I wasn't waiting around to see if she'd change. Because I had. 6 months post-breakup, something wild happened. I laughed. Like, really laughed. I was at this trivia night my buddy dragged me to, said I needed to get out of hermit mode. I sat next to this woman named Elise. Smart. Dry humor. Knew every 90s pop song by heart. We were paired up randomly and spent the night crushing the competition and making each other crack up. For the first time in ages, I wasn't replaying old conversations or analyzing red flags. I was just present. At the end of the night, she smiled and said, "We make a good team." And I felt this weird flutter in my chest. Not fireworks. Not movie romance bullsh *T. Just, something hopeful. We swapped numbers. I didn't rush it. Didn't trauma dump. Just let it breathe. And you know what? We've been texting ever since. Casual, light, no pressure. But here's the key difference, with Elise, I don't feel like I'm walking on eggshells or auditioning for affection. I feel like me. And that version of me? He's worth knowing. The other day she asked if I'd ever been married. I said, yeah. Learned a lot. Ask me anything. She just nodded and said, cool. Glad you got out. No judgment. No prying. Just understanding. It felt freeing. Like maybe the past doesn't own me anymore. Maybe it's just the prologue. The funny thing about healing? It doesn't arrive like a big event. No parade. No triumphant music. Just quiet victories. Like the first time I woke up and didn't think of her. Or the morning I made coffee and realized I'd stopped counting how many mugs were in the cabinet, because I wasn't waiting for hers to be missing. Or walking past that hotel, the one she used to meet Nick in, and not feeling rage, just nothing. Just a building. Just a place where someone else's lies used to live. Elise and I. Still taking it slow. She knows the full story now. I told her everything, no dramatics, no sugarcoating. Just laid it out. Her reaction. That woman had no idea what she had. But I do. That hit me harder than any insult Jess ever flung at me. Because for the longest time, I thought I was the problem. Too boring. Too predictable. Too safe. Turns out, I was just with someone who didn't value stability, honesty, or decency. Now. I cook dinner and don't wait for criticism. I leave my phone face up and don't brace for accusations. I smile when Elise calls, not because I'm trying to keep her, but because I want to hear her voice. And every day, I put one more emotional mile between who I was and who I'm becoming. That guy Jess lied to. He's gone. And in his place is someone stronger, sharper, and finally, free. It's been almost a year. 12 months since I found out my wife couldn't tell me apart from my brother long enough to not blow up our lives. Since I stopped being the guy who made excuses for someone who lied with every breath. Since I stopped believing that love means suffering quietly. A lot has changed. The divorce is ancient history now. The house is fully mine, every corner repainted, every drawer emptied of her shadows. Kevin moved out of state. Jess. I heard she moved back in with her parents. Apparently she's focusing on herself. Whatever that means. I don't care. Because last weekend, I took Elise on a weekend trip. Nothing big. Just the coast. Long drives, quiet mornings, stupid laughter over terrible gas station coffee. One night, as we sat watching the waves, she reached over and said, "You're nothing like how you described yourself when we met." I laughed. What, less broken? She looked at me, dead serious, and said, "No. Just, stronger. Like someone who fought a war and came back knowing exactly who they are." I've been thinking about that a lot. Because she's right. I did fight a war. Against lies, against betrayal, against my own disbelief that someone could be so cruel and still sleep soundly. And I survived it. So if you're reading this because you're in it, because your world just cracked open and you don't know if you'll ever be okay again, hear me when I say this. You will. It'll suck. It'll feel like drowning in slow motion. But one day, you'll wake up, and the first thought won't be them. It'll be you. Your peace. Your power. Your next move. Don't let them take that from you. They already proved they didn't deserve it. You're still standing. And that's where the Real story begins. I have many other stories. Go to my channel, subscribe so you don't lose us. Give me a thumbs up.